Hey guys, guess what? Beautiful people. We have just a very exciting group here. Two of these beautiful ladies, Kate Jameson from Australia, that's how you pronounce it, and of course Ginger Bailey. Their information will be on the screen and of course in the description box. And I think let's start with maybe you, Ginger. How did Katie come to us?
So I received a message or an email from Paula. Okay. And Paula was looking over a lot of what Katie does, and
I did
she thought
too.
it'd
Yeah.
be, yeah, yeah. And she was excited to wanted her to be able to be introduced to the CE family. Um, me and Katie have talked already before this, and I'm very excited for everybody to get to hear all that she does. She's a healer, teacher, channeler, and she uses music for sound healing, among many, many, many other things.
Very
So,
soothing voice
yeah,
on your
yeah,
YouTube. Oh my
yeah.
God.
Yes, I know. Oh, and she has a YouTube channel. So, I
Yes.
mean, just so much that she does.
And we'll
So,
put that in the description box as well. The link to the
yeah,
YouTube channel.
yeah, yeah. So, I think too, what's interesting is going into the galactic, like the ancestry and the galactic, healing that she does. But
Mhm.
I'm going to let you tell everybody because there's just so much more to it than this.
Oh
So,
wait, hi
yeah.
Eric, I love you.
I've been
Aw,
talking to Eric this morning.
he's saying hi, Mama. I love you, and he says he's very excited because he likes this time of year, like the holidays.
We will
So
have a place at
yeah,
the table just for you,
yep,
sweetheart.
yeah, yeah. He's talking about that. Yeah.
Yeah. All right, Katie, tell us how you tell us about yourself.
Yeah.
I guess, thank you for that introduction. Yeah, I guess I
Mm,
do a range of different things. I
You
want to start
do.
by saying, the first time that I really got into the reason that I reached out was the first time I really realized how psychic I was, maybe 7 years ago when I started listening to Channeling Eric and you would
Really?
interview these spirits. Yeah. So I remember when Jamie was on, you were talking to Jesus and you were talking to all these beings. And I realized I was hearing the answer. So you would ask a question and I would hear the answer before it happened. And I'd be
Mhm.
like, well, that's weird. Anyway. And then I started realizing I could speak to the spirits. So I remember you brought through Robin Williams and Kurt Cobain. And I was just having he was just sitting in my living room and I was just talking, being like, am I going crazy? So I think Eric was a big part of, he used to mess with my lights. I lived alone for a long
Oh,
time and he was just a big part of my journey of
yeah.
realizing what I do. And then it kind of eventuated
mm,
into now I do four main things. My big love is making music that takes people into other dimensions.
Oh yeah.
So when I studied sound therapy, I learned how to travel interdimensionally to Atlantis, to Lemuria, all of these places I started to access through the medium of sound. And when I came back from school, I was like, well, I studied classical music. Maybe I could make music that takes you to other realms. And what I found is when I started making music, like everything in my world would disappear and I would just go into another dimension. So I realized
Wow.
if I channel into sound
Mhm.
from the higher state, it is imbued within the energy currents of the sound waves. So
Mhm.
what I realized is when other people started listening, they would have the similar experience of where I was when I was making the music. And that
Wow.
doesn't always happen. So yeah, I started a company in Australia called Vibrosound, and we make music that you lay on a bed and then it projects the sound frequencies into your body. So it's shifting your cells, shifting your water, your bone, it's everything
Yeah.
like that. And then I started to do multidimensional energy with it. And I was when I started training, just aliens started coming through. I had dreams where I woke up on ship and they were doing weird things to me. And I was kind of at the middle of my spiritual awakening. And then I realized these are just my family. So now what
mm.
I do is I read people's galactic lives, I read their quantum fields, and I essentially just see into the energy body and find where blocks are or limiting beliefs or past life trauma or galactic stuff and take people from here to here in their most of my clients are people who want to develop their psychic skills.
Oh
Pretty much all
yeah.
of my clients are healers, right?
Yeah.
Because I feel like I'm here to tune up the healers.
Yeah.
And then the third thing I do and love to do is teach. So I just teach how to clear cords with people, how to go to the on ship, how to use galactic technology, how to speak light language, how to do all of the things that I do, because it's not that hard. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
Don't tell yourself.
Yeah.
When you know
Yeah.
what to do, and when you,
Yeah.
it's not that hard when
Right.
you
Yeah.
look at what's blocking you from already, you're already there. So it's like, what are you buying into instead of being fully, and it's like persecution, wounding, fear, like all of these things.
Oh yeah.
And then it's also turning
Yeah.
your brain on and activating those other aspects of your soul
Yeah.
into this human vessel, right?
Yeah, yeah, that I really think that that is a great way that you go in and you can see blocks that people have and
Yeah.
use sound to unblock it. Like, because if you think about it, we're all just like cells that are vibrating,
Yeah.
so you
Yeah.
can change those vibrations and frequencies within and unblock
And
it. And
sound, it carries information, right? Or does it just amplify it? What does it do?
Sound is energetic
Yeah.
and it's physical. So I think sound is kind of like a hologram. You could project certain information and visuals. Like I remember reading in Lemuria, pieces of art were instead of us just seeing a three-dimensional piece, it was like a four-dimensional, fifth-dimensional expression. So you could go into the art, you can go into the hologram of sound, and that's, I always say sound is a transportation tool. It shifts your brainwaves, but two, and this is what light language is, right? It's encoded frequencies. That's why I call my company Encoded Frequencies from other dimensions that have specific technologies or codes. And if you break down our cell, inside all of our cells is the pure energy, but what's our soul's blueprint vibrating at? This is what the sound can restructure and harmonize through physics. Like a stronger vibration will entrain a weaker vibration. So it's all very spiritual, but it's all also very just physics and
Everything
science.
down to it, spirituality, etc., is physics. I mean, really, and math, and
Same for
that's the
scalar.
universe of, I mean, the language of the universe. So, and I use a
100%.
lot of sound in the scalar field. But
Do you do tuning forks in your field? Or do you
yeah,
just
I
tone?
do. I
Yeah.
do all sorts of stuff. But see, this is
I love those.
yeah,
So,
that
so
I'm
cool.
apparently when I was in Atlantis, the Govain Dash. Anyway, I was given codes to put in clear quartz, clear quartz
Crystal?
crystals from the
Yeah.
Arcturians, influenced by Atlantis when I was an Atlantean healer. And I would give
Cool.
them to people to help them heal. This one, I love the mantra Om Mantirash.
Hmm.
They're beautiful, and I kind
Very
of recognize
alien.
the sounds of them.
Hmm.
It's
Yeah,
really cool. So,
yeah.
were you in Atlantis then?
Yes, I spent a lot of like in my memories of Atlantis were very positive. I have more like it's interesting clients that come to me either have very adverse reactions to their time being in Atlantis and trusting. I guess that's why people are for technology or against technology at this time of
Ooh,
awakening. You know what I mean? So there's a lot of clients that I see that still have trauma from the big fall or the big collapse. But I think there
yeah.
are many different cycles. I see people have like lots of different types of lives within the within the Atlantis, as fully human, as not fully human, as when we had our full powers online. So I was
Yeah.
definitely there in Atlantis, but I feel like I had a positive experience. Whereas I
Yeah.
have memories of Lemuria and not having a very good experience,
Ooh.
and Egypt. Like there are all of these human things that we're referencing now that you have positive or negative experiences, and that's my job, is to clear those things so you can reaccess your gifts from that time and we can all move on from what we're
Yeah.
doing on the planet.
That is
Eric,
awesome.
Eric says that there's a lot of lost language, if you want to call it that, from the Egyptian times and ancient times that you can find. You can find with this, with what you do,
Light
going into
language.
the ancient language and light language. But he's saying that there's a lot that's been lost over time that will start to unfold again and we'll head back in that direction, but hopefully have a
in
better
people's
ending.
DNA in their blueprints.
Yeah,
Like when you
yeah.
do these psychic, like when I do galactic work on people, I feel like one layer of it is just clearing the trauma and the memories and the hurt and the pain and the
Yeah.
disconnection. Cause it's
Yeah.
like, that's terrible what happened. But then it's like reactivating certain blueprints in the coding of someone's DNA where it's already there. It's just, they show it to me like a harp. It's like you have all of the strings there, but imagine if your hand was holding down the harp. If you pluck it,
Oh,
nothing sounds. So
yeah.
it's like everything's there, but once you turn it on and activate it, you can strum the strings of your DNA, and it's going to vibrate and emote and sound at the frequencies of those old languages. And I think the new
It's so
kids have a
cool.
lot more of that than I think we all have a lot of it. Everyone that probably listens to this channel is connected into that some way. You wouldn't be listening
Hmm.
to this content if you weren't somehow connected to it.
Yeah,
Right,
that's
right.
absolutely true. Now, Michelle, I asked her if she would offer encoding these with her light language. She does light language, but I think
Cool.
she's too embarrassed to do it. So,
Don't be
maybe,
embarrassed.
well, maybe
Mm.
like if you could, like, if I could
It's so
send you
special.
clients who bought these crystals and you do light language and encode it in the crystal for them, do you have to have the crystal in your presence or can you just
No way.
see it? Huh?
Mm-mm.
All of my clients, I could just do one big batch. I do this with people's crystal bowls. Like I attune people's
Oh,
crystal bowls,
nice.
so
Hmm.
you can clear the energy field of anything from anywhere.
Okay, Eric,
Yeah,
let
it's
me
all
ask you a question about
energy.
Michelle. She told me that. Which
What?
like, I remember when my second eldest daughter, my second eldest, was like 3 or 4, 5, less than 6 years old. She would tell me how these green gummy bears would come into her room and lift her up off the bed and paralyze her because she couldn't move, and it was very frightening for her. But I think it was just she's apparently a starseed from Sirius, maybe I can't remember.
Yeah, I'm
But I
hearing
think
it was ancestry. It was from other lives of family. And it is scary if you don't understand it. It's
and a
scary
little
if you don't
kid, yeah.
understand it. Yeah. But it is necessary too if you think about it because later on in life she remembers that and it helps her know this is real. Just that little bit of things happening is like, you know what? I've had an experience.
I mean, she's
This
a
is scary.
healer. She's an ER
Yeah.
nurse,
Yeah. Yeah.
and she does light language, and she doesn't do any of that professionally. But the green gummy bears were so scary to her, and she didn't really divulge this until much later. But I think she was uploaded to the mothership. I'm not sure. I can't remember exactly what she said, but
And like I guess
um,
spirits project how you can relay them the best at your level of
Right.
consciousness. So it makes sense. Like I see Syrian frequencies as very deep green, like this weird green, and that's how I know I'm speaking to them. So it's interesting that gummy bears came to the child because that's probably the way that she could understand and interpret something that was safe.
yeah.
Right, right, right. Just like some spirits will come in, spirit guides will come in, Eric says, as children. When they're children, when you're a child, they come in as a child themselves. So,
And Michelle, and I'm sure a lot of people listening, has a lot of dreams almost every night about being part of the Galactic Federation and being the captain of blah 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 or something like that.
Of a ship,
And she
yeah.
has it. It's like
wow.
she travels to that part of her life or that dimension. So interesting girl.
Yeah, if she really wanted to, which Eric is saying she doesn't, but she would be very good at astro traveling.
Yeah, I bet. All right. So, what do you think about Eric? Has he been a pest? Eric, have you been a pest?
Me? Eric was my friend when I had no
Eric,
friends.
Eric, I have to tell you really quick, not to interrupt, but Eric kind of crushes on
I
Katie.
knew it. I
Yep,
felt it.
yep,
I felt it
yep,
crushing.
yep,
When I
crushes
had a
on
session with
Katie.
Courtney, he was like, he thinks Katie's hot.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, yeah.
When I was really sad, I used to drive to the Gold Coast a lot, and it's like an hour away, and I'd always blast music, and I'd be like, Eric, get here now. And I feel like he would always like sit in the car with me and just do things with me when I didn't have any friends. Because when you like come out of one realm and then you get blown into another realm, but there aren't people that are into the things that you're into, so
Yeah,
you
you're
spend a
in
lot of time
between.
alone.
Yeah.
You're
It's
Hmm.
like,
really hard. You're on the bleeding edge,
yeah.
man. Both of you
Yeah, but
guys.
then
Hard.
also it's like you get to speak to all the spirits, and he also helped me connect to my mom. My mom's on the other side, so it's a lot easier to connect to other people who you don't really know that well. And I feel like he helped me connect more to my mom and feel safer that that's a good connection that I can make.
Yeah,
Oh, so
you were
Eric,
young. You were young, right, when you lost
I
your
was
mother?
9
Yeah.
when
oh,
mum
that's
left. So it's
awful
only
age
like
to
now,
lose a
it's like
parent.
20 years, and it's only now that I'm able to connect to the other side and actually talk to her without, because you have to be free of the like dense emotions to connect
Yeah.
into that realm. Otherwise, you
Yeah.
get caught in the like, but that's okay because I feel like, oh, she saved my life a billion times. Like, I really shouldn't be on the planet anymore. I've had so many exit points, like, almost died in Colombia. Like, I've had
Oh,
really like terrible experiences, and I look to that, I'm like, how the did I live through that? So I think that it's kind of good to have a dead mom on the other side as a human to like hook you up when you need it.
hook me up, mom.
Hook you
I can
up,
Yeah.
I can
Yeah.
mom.
relate. I've had a
Yeah.
whole bunch of exit points, but
Yeah. Thanks for
Eric,
staying.
let's let you because you have not had a chance to uh you know answer for what we just said about you and Katie. So tell me about how you feel about Katie and her
Very.
gifts, everything
So, okay, well, first of all, he just talks about how beautiful you are, okay, inside
inside
and
and out.
out. Yeah,
Yeah, I
yeah, inside and out.
yeah.
And he's just, you guys have the same vibration too. Like a vibration as in the way, and I know that he's in spirit, their vibration is a little higher, but like, I mean, like when you vibe as in the way that you think about things, the way that you
Yeah.
feel about things,
Humor.
yeah, that kind of thing. You very much are similar in that way.
Interesting.
And you've also been through a lot. Like Eric's, like he went through a lot, and he's talking about how he can relate to the things that you've been through and how you cope with it and deal with it.
Yeah, totally. On
Uh,
Earth and
so
galactically,
I
probably.
have to tell you that he also envies that in a way, like kind of envies in the way that you do cope and deal with things. And he helps you. He
Yeah.
shows helping you with it.
That's
I
nice.
think he helps me a lot. I think we're really similar. I feel like if he was alive, we'd be bros. I think that the
Yeah,
way that he answers questions on the
Yes.
channel, I'm like,
yeah,
that's exactly how
very
my brain.
similar.
Like
Yeah.
he goes, yo, and I'm like, yo. Like it's very similar personality
Hmm.
constructs. I think.
Yeah,
Well, did y'all
yeah.
have other lives together, past or future?
I'm hearing yes right away
Of
before he
course.
even finished that. Yeah, he's like, oh yeah, yes, absolutely. I was looking for one. Show me one, Eric. Yeah, yeah. You have had one where you guys were actually. He's laughing. Actually
Together.
together as a couple, but he also shows me him as a female and you a female,
Ah,
buddies, besties.
besties.
Oh,
Yeah,
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 for
yeah.
life.
But there's been more. So, but yeah,
Yeah.
Eric was part of Atlanta too, and he helps you
yeah.
with your Atlanta Scalar, right? And he was a
Yes.
part
Yeah.
of that life too that you had. So I was asking if you guys had a connect. Yeah, he says that you guys do. You
Galactically.
have a connection.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Katie
all
and
of you.
him, right?
And
Yeah.
yeah, and
I
you,
feel
Elisa.
like all of us, Elisa, I
Yeah,
feel like you
and
two as
Elisa
well, especially
too. You
Arcturian
too. You.
consciousness.
No,
Yeah.
because when I'm in the she shed, in the scalar field, I'm doing all my work, and I envision that all these people from Atlantis are around the table. Eric, my my daughter's father-in-law passed away. Jesus, Michelle, I think. I can't remember. I have to add you in that. But the visualization is we're in this beautiful amethyst grotto, and the sounds are amazing. The vibration is amazing. There are colors and sounds that you'd never see on Earth. And there's this giant crystal in the middle, and we're all in like white and copper and stuff like that. And that visualization helps me sort of tap back into my Atlantean powers.
And there are so many different realms that you can access. Like that's what I teach is like how to access the inner earth realm and travel into
Oh,
these landscapes where you can harmonize with the consciousness and the hybrid beings within the earth. So it's like anytime that you're visualizing like an energy table and an energy field, you'll find that the different landscapes that you go to, you'll have access to different collectives of beings. There'll always be the Christ consciousness or your team, your main team. But then like if you go up onto ship, there's this dimension that you can go to, and what what they show is like this auric field. It's always a sphere of this orb, but it emits light and sound at the same time. So there's different galactic technologies that you can tap into and bring into your healing chambers and connect to. Like they showed me how to do like DNA repairs. They have this technology where you take the hologram of someone's DNA and then they have this little part of their ship and you put it in and it spins it really fast and it breaks apart all of the strands and takes all of this black gunk out, and then it puts this blue like liquid light and it restructures it, and then you're making sounds and you're doing what you do and you put it back and then it goes blah 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 blah, and it holographically imprints all of the other strands of DNA. So it's like when you start tapping in, yeah, it's like when you start tapping in and you start to realize that you're actually there and those places are real, that's when I feel like the strength and the confidence in what you do manifests, and then you make really powerful, like you already do make really powerful changes for people. And I think this is the future of healing technology. We are
absolutely.
technology.
I think we are.
Yeah,
Now,
we are the technology.
I'm eventually going to get questions for Hollow Earth and Garthra. Is that
Agatha?
Gartha?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And the Nephilim, the giants. How do you pronounce that? The
Nephilim.
Nephilim.
The Nephilim. I think that's how.
Some of which are in the that when the land flooded or whatever went down into the Hollow Earth. A lot of beings did, hybrids, etc. Humans
Still there, yeah.
still there. Yeah. So we're going to do a session on that eventually.
You know, I there's a few things that I want to ask you about, but one of them is tuning into other life, like in this incarnation, in someone's incarnation, they're each parallel life that somebody has, and manifesting. And I know you have something coming up that I was watching. I was looking at your videos, and you have something coming up. Yeah, for 2025. But I just find all that stuff is so neat with manifesting. Go ahead.
Totally.
Go ahead. Yeah.
Yeah, I had this download. I was thinking, like, because I've been trying to quantumly shift my life. Like, who I was a year ago is very different to who I am now. And I'm like, how did I get there? And it's like, anytime you can learn, and this is the power of why everyone should read energy and why it's to demystify it as being something hard, is understanding that you and your parallel experiences are all on different train tracks, and they always show it to me like trains going this way. What's propelling it is the thoughts, the beliefs, the unconscious emotions, the trauma, the density, right? The speed in which you go and the direction in which you go. If you can learn to stop and analyze and think, okay, if I continue like this, da 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 da, if I continue like this, I might land here, and then how do I get to this point? So I downloaded a thought and I was like, let's create a manifestation meditation where I can use galactic light codes and support, because I do group clearings at once, and you choose 3 intentions. We'll take you down into the inner earth realm. One intention is something small that you're going to manifest that you pretty much know is going to happen, right? Something is medium, which is like, I really have always wanted this, but I haven't allowed myself to have it. And then the third manifestation is something that's like, if I manifest this, I am the most powerful being ever, and like, look at me go, right?
Like the first one is, I'm going to wake up in the morning.
The first one would be like something that you want to manifest, but you haven't put that much energy into, but you know if you actually did,
I got it.
Probably do it.
All right.
And then as we go on the journey, it will be like 3 crystals inside of the inner earth realm, and then I'll teach you how to read the energy imprints surrounding it. So as you hold your desire, there's a band of energy. What is the resistance to you experiencing that? Oh crap, if I really had this, I would have to address my fear of being seen. Say that you want to grow your audience, or this, or that you want to get that new job. So I'll help read the subtle imprints of what you're unconsciously holding on to, the templates of, usually it's lack consciousness or fear or doubt, or or it's patterns in your ancestral line that you're carrying because your mother said you couldn't do it, blah 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 blah,
right.
So then I'll use galactic codes and frequencies to start. Literally, I just open up a portal into God Source Light and then just start clearing the vibrational patterns around it. So as you go to ingest or embody the frequency of your desire, there's a smooth transition between you and the desire, because everything external is just a projection from what is happening on the inside, right? Is it not? So you take these crystals in and then you start to bleed and holographically embed all of that desire, and you become one with that. You put the crystal back, you do it, you clear all of that, you clear all of that. And then the last crystal is how you can be of service to humanity for 2025. Because I think for me, whatever propels my manifestations always comes from when I'm like, God, show me how I can make the best soundtrack to help people, right? And then people come. So I think that a really big moving, propelling motion for humanity as we move forward is like, how can I be of service, and how can the act of being in service be like an infinity symbol out to humanity, back into my heart as one, right? So I think that as we move forward, if you can manifest through the act of, if it's your psychic gifts, if it's your time, if it's your energy, if it's your care, whatever your gifts are, how can that be the propelling motion of aligning to what you want? Because then you have to address all your unworthiness, your disconnection from God, your dissatisfaction, your
Or
frustration.
maybe in another life, even in the galactic time, you were punished for your gifts.
Burnt.
And things
100%.
like that. The wounded healer, Cryon, Chiron.
And do you know what's
And
fascinating?
I was just going to say, and you have a group, you have something you're doing with a group, because you do like individual one-on-one, and you also do group,
This is a
right?
group one.
Yeah, and
Everyone's
this is something
invited. You
coming up.
can
Yeah, it's
all
coming up in
CE
December.
people, I'll give you a code and you can all come for free. Like this will be my gift to you guys. Like, you guys
Well, there
can
has
all
to be
come.
energy
It'll be
exchange,
recorded. But the
Yeah, it's
energy exchange is meeting you guys. Like this will be my gift, because I just want a group of people there, because I can channel really powerful energy when there's more people there. Because it's like
I
it's
think
like
it's a really cool.
permission slip. Because
Yeah, I love it.
why shouldn't people have the chance to clear their resistance and become aware of it? It's very hard to read your own stuck patterns, right? It's very hard when you have the blinders on for you to be conscious. Otherwise, everyone would be a lot further on their path, wouldn't they? So you know what I mean? It's like you just need a helping hand. And do you know what's really interesting? Working with galactic consciousness, I feel like they're really direct. So when people need to kick up the butt, I love when they're just like, and you're this and you're that, and you need to look at this, and you think that you're further along, but you're not. And it's like people get really uncomfortable, but then they're like,
they've been around for
wow,
millions of years. They don't need to
right.
sugarcoat shit.
Just pray and love. It's like, that's great, but like, look at your shit. You know what I mean?
Sounds like Erik.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, just like Erik, and that's why it's like, okay, this is Erik, guys. I'm not judging you.
That's not me.
Yeah.
Also, people like it because I think it's a sign of respect. If you respect someone enough, you're going to tell them the truth. You're not going to sugarcoat something.
And it's not judging. Yeah.
Welcome, my dear one. Ugh. No.
Right, and it's not judging. It's you're just being honest and open, and people respect that. They do. I just want you to tell me the truth. Just be honest. They want the truth. They want to know.
And I think that I incarnated as a girl like this because I'm playful and silly enough to tell someone something very hard. And I would like, there's a level of safety when someone delivers something that there's no energy of judgment. It's like, I don't care if you did this. I've done terrible things. It doesn't matter. I think when you can get through all of that, you need to feel safe in someone's energy, that they can deliver hard truths in a very playful, like lighthearted way. Because at the end of the day, you don't have to take this stuff too seriously either. You're a very, 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 very powerful being. And that's what I read of people's oversoul. It's like, you're just pretending to be da 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 da. You know what I mean? So it lightens it up so you can just move through really, really hard stuff easier, right? And,
well, that's another way you and Erik are similar. Cut to the chase.
Yeah.
Love
so many, Elisa. I see and feel so many between them. Yeah, definitely. Also, you know what else I think is really cool is that you do where you look in, you know how people are always saying, what's my purpose? What's my purpose? And do have many things that we're here to do, but there's usually certain ones that are the bigger part of it. You do something to where you look into somebody's soul purpose, right? And you can also go into the Akashic records, right?
Yeah. So I see all of the fields at once. Like, I don't see the Akashic Records as a place. It's like just a layer of information. So I see someone's energy body, and then like thousands and thousands and thousands of like layers that run like this and like this. And then there's nodular points that connect. And I see them as templates. So if you've come in to express a theme, it will be like a template of, say that your parents are very dismissive, but you don't express yourself. So this is the life where you came to accrue your own personal expression or whatever. All of these different archetypal lessons, disempowerment, lack, financial abundance, personal development, like all of these things. So I'll look in at someone's blueprint and be like, okay, these are the things that you've come here to learn, and this is what's blocking you, These are the past lives that are informing
so cool.
energetically.
God, that's so direct.
Right now, it's so good because in 75 minutes, people come away and they're like, and they have to listen to it they listen to it like a few times, but then you make the shifts. So I think that the work is just like ripping off a band-aid where I go, this frequency doesn't belong, this frequency doesn't belong, but then you have to go and actualize it in the physical, right? So I think once people understand what they're here and what they're here to do and how to do it, it's like when you go to the gym, someone's like, here's your routine, this is where you're going to get when you do it, and there's the promise of it being good at the end for them. The reward is that they've touched the essence of themselves in that channel, in that frequency, where they're reminded, bing, 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 oh, that's right. And they can reconnect with those parts of themselves that have been laden with like society and school and just It's so boring. It's so boring.
That's so cool. Do you have anything like you working with a person or a group that's on YouTube that people can see how you work?
Yeah, so all the things I put on YouTube are like my light language activations. I put my one-on-one sessions that people allow me to share. So there's like 10 different sessions where we go into ship and talk to Ashtar. There's sessions where we go to Egypt. There's sessions where we go to past lives. There's sessions where... And then the codings work. So once I've recorded it for one person, it goes onto YouTube. You can go and find something that you want to heal, and you can ask for the codes that are coming through me to work on your energy body. So it's like a free healing, right?
I was going to say, you have a lot of free, she has a lot of free stuff. A lot of free stuff she offers too.
Most light workers are so generous because
people expect stuff for free as well, though. I have a paid service where there's like a library. So I have a thing called the Cosmic Library where I have like 80 of my sound healing tracks and probably 80 light language activations. So if you're at the point of your psychic journey where you're like, I'm so close to shifting, but I can't. If you spent like a month on there, you could retune, because I made a whole ancestral clearing where I went into everyone's chakra and I went into the template of each of them, and I just cleared it out. So it's pretty brutal at times, and I kind of say you have to be ready to look at the gunk that comes out. But I think once it moves, once it moves you're different. You're different forever. And then the best thing about energy is once it's transformed, you don't have to do that again. Once you've learned that lesson, you can move on to something more fun. Because I feel like the thing that's missing in all of this is like we're working towards having more fun. I'm a bit bored of like, this is hard and this is hard and this is hard. It's like I feel that I came to this planet to be like, okay, let's get on with the shit, and then let's see our galactic family, or let's have our powers back, or let's all be together. And that's the fun of it.
Erik says another thing too that we're working towards is kind of a balance too, in a way of when you do have that hard stuff come your way, it's like you don't look at it the same. It doesn't affect you as hard. It's more challenge, he says. I'm going to take this on now, but it changes your perspective on things and how they come in, and then life does get a lot more fun.
Yeah. And less triggered. Like the way that you've healed is you have these same situations and you're like, oh, that didn't bother me at all. Like that used to piss me off. And now like,
all the emotional
or you can see it for what it is. Like if someone comes at you, you can recognize, oh, that's from their pain body. How can I how can I
That's like past life regression. Does the same thing. It's like you see, why you feel like you want to kill yourself when you were 22, and then you found out, well, I did kill myself when I was 22, or whatever, and then all of a sudden, oh, that makes sense. Now I don't want to.
And just like that. Like you can heal just like that. Like I had endometriosis, and my body completely shut down. I was in pain every single day, and I decided, I was like, I can't actually live. I'll actually die. Like I would rather die than keep living in this much pain every day.
Baby.
But that was the gift of like understanding that why it's like, if you think about everything as reality is in a second, there's like a billion different realities that you could choose, all springing from this one moment. It's like, why do I stay stagnant in constructs that hold me to this point of time space? And then once you start to realize how fast you can shift quantumly, and then start to slowly adjust this, and then adjust this, and then adjust this, boop, you're in another reality where you don't even remember that you had pain. You don't even remember that you were sick. Like I can't really remember the version.
It is really possible.
Wow, that's so powerful.
It is. There's people that don't believe that's possible, Erik says. But
oh, really?
just it really he's like, listen people. This is there. Listen people, it's really
Yeah.
possible to get out of that place, because remember, what you focus on you get more of, you know.
Yeah.
That's
And that's
true.
why I think the galactics help so much because they just like tell you directly. And if you don't believe in galactic consciousness, that's fine. Even if you need to have the message delivered from an angel or from Jesus, it's the
Yeah.
same. And healing, like Jesus healed instantly, you know what I mean? So I think that once people can shake the sediments off their limiting beliefs, which we all are with all of this
Oh yeah.
ascension energies, it's just going to be speeding up, speeding. And then you're going to be like, oh, pop. How did I get
Yeah.
here? You know what I
I
mean?
Right.
remember at one of the channeling Erik events that was at, I let a medium, for example, come and so they don't have to pay for a venue just for free, offer my house and stuff like that. And I remember one lady in the audience was saying she had such awful back pain. And
Mm,
anyway, I can't remember who it was, but they said, "Oh yeah, you were stabbed
it's
with
the
a spear in the
worst.
back, and this is what happened." And boom, her pain went away right
Yeah.
there. It's
Once
crazy.
it's seen and felt, I feel like everyone's resisting. I think people think that all of your shadow is in this big scary box, and if you're going to go into it, you're going to get everything bad. But once you realize, for 90% of clients, once you open that little box and they're like, oh, is that all that's in there? It's the fear of looking at it that holds you in a state
Oh
of that
wow,
thing.
Yeah.
Because once you look at it and feel it, you're
interesting.
like, oh, like you said, Elisa, like once you understand that you were stabbed in that life and then you understand it, and then you're like,
Right.
oh, okay, I don't need to do that again. And it's an instant thought. The
Yeah, I'm not
belief
being
dissolves
stabbed
and then
right
the
now.
energy leaves. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
It's not happening to me anymore and I don't need to hold on. So everything is just electricity and charge and energy. So it's not
Yeah.
that, but we
Yeah.
haven't been taught
That
that.
Yeah, that's how powerful the mind is. Eric's saying, like, also realizing that you have the power too. A lot of people
Yeah.
don't realize how powerful they are, within themselves, that they don't always
Yeah.
need someone else to do it for them, but it's nice to have someone guide them on
Oh
how
yeah.
to, and then
People, y'all
eventually
are a
you can
whole
do
part
it
of
yourself.
God, our
Yeah,
Creator. You are
I
vastly
love
divine
that.
and powerful.
And that's why I think
so
teaching is really
much.
important. And that's why I think my
Mm,
first love is channeling. And then my second love is like, hey, did you know you can do this too? And if you keep it
yeah,
really fun and you teach people very simple ways, you don't realize how psychic you're already being every single day, how you
yeah,
already are.
yeah,
And people dismiss their imagination too much because you
yeah.
are. Like you just are. But you have to have lived that to fully embody and understand that about yourself. And that takes discipline. And I think people maybe don't give themselves enough credit to have enough focus and discipline to get to
Yeah.
where they need to be, because if they did, it wouldn't be that long before they saw real results. But why are they
Hmm.
rejecting their discipline? Are they resisting their
It's
power?
opening
Are
the
they in fear
box.
of themselves?
It's
Yeah,
Yeah,
opening the
yeah,
box.
yeah.
it's hard work.
Yep,
Okay,
it
so
is. It is.
somebody goes to your site. Walk us through what they should do and look
They
for.
go there and they say, this person looks interesting, let me figure it out. And then if they unconsciously don't want to do the work, they say, this looks terrible. And then they close the thing. I feel like people are polarized, either really into it or really not into it. Basically, there's different ways that you can access. So like YouTube, bunch of free stuff to test out whether the energies work for you.
Hmm.
Typically they do. Typically you have certain type of awakenings where you're like, oh, my star family, or I'm this, or maybe I'm a healer. And then typically people have like a one-on-one and I just do a readout and I'm like this, clear, do
Yeah.
this for homework. And then I do monthly live. So I just get a group of people together. I go into space. I channel angels, like the ascended masters, the galactic beings, God, everyone. And then in an hour, it's crazy. They say so many things that make no sense to me. And then at the end, everyone's like, I was just thinking about how I need to blah, blah, blah. So it really taps
Wow.
into the group
Yeah.
conscious. That's kind of my specialty, is like reading a group energy and then just clearing. And then I have the cosmic library, which is like ways to access all of the encodings and just do it on your own, because you don't really, my intention is to get rid of me altogether and just give people the
Want to
frequencies
do
that they
that?
can use. Well, like not to
She's
one-on-one
still
happen.
making, yeah, she's still
Yeah,
making the
Oh,
yeah,
I'm kidding.
frequencies. Yeah.
yeah, get rid of me, you can never. Yeah, so you can, so people are empowered over their own healing journey, and there are steps to it. It's like, look at your ancestral, look at your programming here, the frequency. It's like a
Hmm.
medicine, right? But I
Yeah.
think that all of these codes are just medicines that you take and then you get better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So let
Yeah.
me ask Erik,
Powerful.
what is the next step for Katie with CE? Should we do a live together? Should she demonstrate a one-on-one? Should she do a group? Well, I mean, none of the above, all of the above.
He's talking about demo. Just do a demo of what she does, maybe with you, Elisa.
God knows I
Yeah,
need it.
yeah. She, there's so many things though that she does. He says a lot of people are going to see this through your YouTube channel, which
Yeah.
that's awesome that you have that. But he's talking about just doing a one-on-one demo with you,
Okay.
Elisa.
Cool.
And,
Well,
also, people need to know too that there's a lot more to it than, what we're talking about here. So go read like your
yeah.
site and go
Oh,
look
yeah.
into it, he's saying,
Yeah.
because this is important because there's a lot more.
Yeah.
I mean, even past life regression type work, is done with this. Looking into
Wow.
your ancestry, looking into your life here as a child. I think I
Yeah.
just watched a video that you did on you.
Yeah. The
I've
reparenting
been like
program.
binge watching her videos. They're so
Awesome. I'm going
Nice.
to for sure.
I
yeah,
just
they're so
created a
good.
series of I understood about when I was looking at the quantum field. I kept doing sessions where I would be in a child's bedroom at age 6, and then they would be scared because a visitor would come and take them, like similar to your daughter onto ship. And I'd be like, well, that's why your psychic gifts are repressed. And then I realized if I can
Oh.
access someone's
Hmm.
energetic field from a child, why don't I make a series of activations transmissions? So I made the reparenting program where we go back and we clear the timeline, the experience of when you were in the womb, releasing like
Ooh,
um,
yeah.
Yeah.
resistance to the mother, the epigenetic trauma of the mother, the
Mm.
energetic encodings that were seeped into the womb, and then reactivating that to your blueprint from that timestamp, and
Yeah.
then the birthing experience, then ages 0. Like there's a book called Anna Dear Judith, Eastern Body, Western Mind, where she talks about the chakras being developed at different ages of your
Oh.
childhood. So much of people's trauma is like you were 4 and your dad yelled at you and told you to be quiet, and then it repressed you this, and now you don't get this job because da 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 da. But we don't
Yeah.
think about that because we don't think about what we can't see. So we just
Yeah.
shove it in the closet and say, well, da 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 da.
Yeah.
But I
Yeah.
look at that of like my mom's death, and I look at my teenage years and my adult life. It's like I did drugs, I had addictions, I was sick, I was traveling, like I was all messed up, and I only healed it when I realized the source point of that was the neglect and the rejection and the emotional abuse from my childhood. So it's like
Oh.
you're not going to
Yeah.
be able to move through it unless you go back and look at it and think
Exactly. And
and
that's
reframe
scary.
it.
It's scary.
But it's not scary when you do it with sound because it shifts your consciousness and you're in an altered state. So I think this is why the future of healing is with these higher consciousness energies. When you don't have to talk about the exact experience, you don't relive it. You
Oh.
can
Yeah.
see it from a higher viewpoint, and then that's why you love QHHT or you love these experiences, because you're having, it's like your higher self is holding your hand and you're astral traveling back to that experience and remote viewing it without like reliving it, if that
And
makes
being
sense.
triggered by it.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
that's not going to do good. That's going to trigger your PTSD. That's going to make you feel
Yeah.
very unsafe. And I
To
think
talk
that,
about to talk I didn't mean to interrupt you, but Eric just said real quick, he said to talk about it is like reliving it and going through it again. So it's
Yeah.
better to reach it from
reactivating
a
it.
higher, yeah. So it's better to go in from a higher level of it.
That's why I
And
was talking
how,
about like people who are just mired in struggles, etc. I asked them to put themselves up above and imagine that life is a chessboard, and you could be the pawn that's being moved around by different aspects of life and
Right.
different people, or you could raise above and be the chess player, and you decide what pawns to move and where. So it's all about perspective. So I
Yeah.
mean, not everything, but a lot of it.
A lot of it
and that's
is.
why sound is so powerful, because it literally shifts your brain waves. You don't have to learn how to meditate or access those states. When you use verbal cues and sound frequencies that literally take you into altered states of consciousness, it's like hacking your brain. And then you're in such a relaxed state that you just find yourself there, that you just feel guided, that you just feel the energy clear, that you just allow it to happen because God wants, like, the frequencies of the universe want you to understand your and reconnect and vibrate to the oneness of what it is. So it isn't pain, it isn't hurt. So when you can allow yourself to be held in that higher consciousness realm, it's so much easier to let that stuff go. And once you do, your life changes. So it's like the combination of it all is so gentle and such a nice approach. And I think that that's why people who are on traditional medication can be on medication for forever. Like I was on so many painkillers for so long. And if I was still on them, I probably wouldn't get any better. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And there's always a need for medication. There's always a need for
Right,
medicine.
right.
But there's another type of medicine that's like a living consciousness programmed into
Yes.
these sound activations that can be as helpful as your blah, 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 blah prescriptions.
I don't know. I really think that eventually we
Right.
won't need any medication.
Or
We're sick
or
forever.
food or drink. Eric's talking about
Yeah.
he
Liquid
shows
light.
humankind in the future that is just living off energy
That's the
and
breatharians. There are people like that,
yeah,
right?
yeah, he shows us getting more and more like that, but he also talks about what
I
we
gotta have
do
me a
have.
taco every once in a while, okay?
Yeah,
Well,
he
no.
says,
I love
but you'll
chocolate.
have a body that absorbs it and doesn't have any waste
Wow.
eventually.
100%. I've been reading the book We the Arcturians. You should read it, Elisa. It's really,
Oh,
really amazing. It's this lady channeled them, and it's very, very, very detailed, insightful. Talks about the 13 chambers of the ship. It talks about what they eat, what they wear,
So
and they're
neat.
saying that their civilization has this thing called a liquid light, and it's like a plasma or a type of energy that they kind of drink or they ingest, and then it's all of the things that they need. They have different gases on their planet. It speaks about everything to do with their living. I think you will read it and be like,
I am going
this
to.
is my
I'm
people.
gonna
Yeah,
check it out too.
it's
My,
really
my
good.
last favorite book was Atlantis Rising. It's a Syrian Revelations. It is the Syrians warning us, okay, you guys, here's what happened in
Sort it
Atlantis.
out.
Y'all was, all for the good, blah, 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 good for the collective. And then all of a sudden, ego got in the way, and the high priestess and all that stuff that had to use technology for bad. And then, boom,
Yeah, got out of
down.
balance.
And then, and
Boom.
Out
then
of
we are
balance.
reaching the same thing here. The,
Yeah.
the, the elite class, the oligarchy, corruption, deep state, all that stuff.
False
And so
light
they're warning us.
leaders.
Don't do the
Yeah,
same
it's
thing.
infiltration. And that's why I think the simplicity of coming back to meditation and your own power and your own light and activating your own soul's knowledge and not, I think we've moved away from people being a guru, right? I think we've moved into like the realm of everyone walking home together arm in
Individual.
arm.
And
Yeah,
yeah,
exactly.
individual but together. If
Yeah.
that makes sense. Eric's going like we're our own individual gurus, but we work together to where like I have this knowledge I share with you, you have this knowledge you share with me, and then it's like all
A
one.
collective upliftment individually.
Yeah, yeah.
I look forward to, moving completely away from polarity consciousness, contrast consciousness, which is survival of the
It's
fittest, a
uncomfortable, isn't it?
competition. Moving
Yeah.
to unity consciousness, where we survive with collaboration, with love and support.
Thrive.
So,
I think there's still more of
Less
it to move
self.
through.
Less self
Yeah.
yeah,
and more I mean you still love yourself, but it's less about the self only,
it's all about service too.
Yeah. So instead of self, it's service, but not putting yourself, out.
Not
Like
power
not,
over.
and yeah, not taking, not giving. Okay, Eric goes, not giving away your power.
Yeah, I do that a lot.
Yeah, don't
Yeah,
give away your power. You need to keep your power within
yeah,
you. But it's the same thing, like you always say, Lisa. Put the mask on yourself first, so you can help others, kind of thing.
yeah. So my
100%.
biggest hope is to find, there's a certain percent, a very small percent of people that get the scalar services that don't have success, and I've tried everything,
Because of their beliefs?
and because it's
So it's a few
thinking
things.
thought forms like it's good to be true, or I'm not worthy, or whatever. There's probably a
Totally.
lot of
They're
things,
blocks. Yeah.
blocks, and so I'm wondering if you would be able to
Do you
help.
address those blocks to people? Do you know what's so funny when people, and it's not funny, like I love, it's not a judgment. I just think it's funny when it's funny when you read energy very clearly because energy doesn't lie. So in a
No.
session, if I say something to someone, this happened yesterday, I said this about you, and they said, I don't feel that. And I was like, oh, but you do because it's here. And then what I think is the missing step is if someone is feeling a lack and they're not receiving the frequencies, instead of applying the frequencies, you speak to the lack and say, well, why don't you believe this is happening? And then you
Oh,
break that down as as a construct and say, oh, well, I can see that you feel like this. Well, why? Where did that originate? Why is that happening? Oh, okay, you don't feel worthy. Why? Go into the past life. Okay, before we do what we're doing, let's break
wow.
down this thing that is the resistance to what I'm trying to do with you. And when you can
Yeah.
address that, people will trust, I feel like people will trust you when you give them enough data points that are validated within their mind, where
Yeah.
they know that you're actually speaking the truth. Because people have been burnt, people have been hurt, people,
I
snake oil
know.
salesmen, people have
Well,
been lied to, right? And
yeah.
that's just
Not in
human
just this lifetime,
opportunists.
but
Exactly, mostly other
Other lifetimes,
lifetimes.
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, whenever there are people that do have haven't had success or saying they don't feel it, just a few sessions that I had, and everyone's different,
Yeah.
but it's usually going to be their belief system that I've dealt with,
Yeah.
or their expectation. Like, well, is there anything that you can think about that wasn't the same afterwards? And I try to get them thinking, and they'll start, oh, you know what? And then they'll start thinking because they were expecting maybe this big giant thing, and it wasn't supposed to work like that. It was working like this. But anyway, it's just about making
You're
them,
right. Expectation is a very dense
it's a
energy. It's
big one.
really hard
It's a
to
big
cut
one, yeah.
through.
Yeah.
And
So
also,
there's
people
many
need to
things that
take
block them.
people need to also take responsibility. Like I find in sessions, I'm not allowed to clear things that people aren't willing to look at or own
Right.
first. So if
Yeah.
Right.
someone's in denial to that even being a vibration within them, you can't go anywhere with that. So it's like lovingly showing people,
Yeah.
if you do want to re-engage with this,
Yeah.
maybe you could look at the potential that this is true for you. And if that doesn't ring true for now, leave it and come back to it and see if that resonates later. Because at the end of the day,
Right.
you can lie to yourself and hit a brick wall, but you're never going to progress to the next stage unless you like acknowledge it, look it,
Yeah.
and move
Right.
through it.
Yeah,
Right.
you're right. If people, a lot of people say, just heal me, whether it's scalar
Yeah,
energy
it
or
doesn't work
Reiki or
like that.
whatever, instead of like taking responsibility for,
Yeah, be proactive,
yeah,
and yeah. So Lisa, I want to get back to your question really quick. That was one of the first things I thought about when I was talking to Katie about all that she does. Not that others, us mediums or other healers can't do it, but the way she goes into depth,
yeah,
and goes step by step to unblock, and I thought that same thing about people that you're having, come to you and say, I don't feel
yeah.
anything. What's going on?
I'm in
I
this
thought
to
about that
help,
too. Yeah,
not to
that
earn a
she would
living.
be,
And
she'd be
it's,
able to do
it's
it.
so it's so sad for me when people come and I mean, there are so many people that say, "Oh my God, my kid doesn't even have
Life
autism
changing.
anymore. The prostate cancer is completely gone." So
Help,
there
help
was
my,
some good
help my
stuff, but
kidneys.
the
I'm one.
kidneys, yeah,
Oh, whoa,
the lotus
cool.
flower. So,
Yeah.
so Eric, what do you think about? And of course, I would have to ask your permission, Katie. And Ginger, what about her being on the team for Atlanta Scalar? Like, if you look at the top tab on Atlanta Scalar, you'll see some
Absolutely.
team. And if you see all the stuff, like
Eric
the picture
says
and all
yes.
that,
Yeah. He
yeah.
said, absolutely.
So why
Absolutely.
don't you look at that page and you'll see what people submit, and then I'll give you the Lucas's address, and he can. That's my
I
son.
also made an activation
Good.
for everyone on the CE. I made a dissolve. I haven't released it on my YouTube. I just made it for everyone that listens to Channeling Eric, because I know some
Oh,
people that listen to this channel
Yeah.
listen to mine, and they've had people cross over. So I made a sound and light and guided meditation to access different states of consciousness, where you can meet your loved ones on the other side, where you can meet God
oh,
Source, where you can
Yeah.
like
It's
shift
nice.
your frequency. So that is my gift to everyone, to just to just
oh,
try it, because it's just about. It's my biggest thing is like, if everyone could touch home and listen to a piece of music and remember where they are and who they are, then you can come back and you would be shifted. So if you can live from that state
you
of
can handle the
awareness,
human
yeah,
experience. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
So
with a
how
good
do we
sense of
find
humor.
that on your
I
site?
sent it to you. You can just upload it onto your channel.
You send it to me?
Yeah.
I'll
She's
send
going
you
to
the
send it to
file.
you.
Oh,
To
okay.
upload it onto, she's talking about the YouTube channel, like you can, or have Pala do
Okay.
it, upload it
As you
on
send
to
it,
the YouTube
okay,
channel.
yeah. And then we can do week transfer, make it into a link and put it in the
And
description box, maybe. I don't know.
I was also thinking,
Paula, you hear this?
in the future, it could be cool. You know how you are interested in retrieving the tablets from Atlantis, or collecting like gold, like gifts that have been repressed. I can just make a few meditations for the Channeling Eric group that take you into those journeys, take you into the inner earth realm, take you onto ship, take you to these places to recalibrate. Because
That would be
yeah,
so
like
sweet, so
I watched this channel
generous.
for so long, being like, whoa, like I've really learned a lot from Eric and all of the amazing mediums that channel things. Because I don't think you realize the effect it makes for people who are desperately alone
Yeah.
in the phase of like coming out of the egg from this shell to this shell.
Yeah.
And this type of information, I'm sure other people can agree on the channel, kind of is your lifeblood when you don't know who you are yet. It's a very powerful, this YouTube is very powerful connector of different realms for people.
Yeah, and they're my other family. I love them all so much. And so many of them are from Atlanta. So many of them are light workers. So many are just, well, they're all just amazing people. And the more we can help them, then the more they can spread out and help others.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
It's so
Okay.
cool that Eric's on the other
Absolutely.
side just helping out. I always wish to like leave, like it'd be cool just to fractal out and be like, coming on your rounds with you today, Eric. Like a little bit of love for Melissa, and a little love for this, and a little love for this. You know what I mean? It'd be cool to see what he does all day.
That's awesome.
Cool guy.
Anything else you want to
Yeah.
share before we close? Or
It's
Eric or
just,
Ginger or anything?
Eric,
This
what do
has
you want to
been so
say?
mind blowing. I'm just so
Uh,
impressed.
yeah, Eric's just really excited, and he's doing his pace thing, but not because he's like
Yeah.
but like he's just excited, excited, excited. Um,
He's a
you know,
pacer.
yeah, he's talking about how it might be kind of cool, Lisa. I mean, we could talk about this sometime, but be kind of cool where maybe she puts something up once a month or something on the
Yeah,
channel for
I would
people.
love
You
that. I
know?
would
I mean,
love
I'll
that.
share anything you want. That'd be
I'll
great.
make anything you want.
Yeah,
It's my
yeah,
pleasure. It's my
yeah,
I
joy.
don't
yeah. Put
know
something
enough to
up once.
tell you what to make. That's the problem.
Yeah.
I have a pretty good
maybe
idea of what
maybe
people can write in the comments.
help with unblocking or just whatever comes to mind. Eric says he definitely guides you, let you
Me,
know.
yeah.
So yeah,
Well,
Yeah.
Katie.
it's a dirty
Oh,
job,
I'm
but
Um,
somebody got
downloading
to do
things
it.
all day.
yeah.
Well,
Thank you
thanks
so
for
much, Katie.
chatting.
Thank you,
Yeah,
Ginger. Thank you, Eric, for helping
thank you.
too. And wow, so
Love you, mom.
Love you,
Love
Eric.
everybody. He's gonna love everybody.
y'all gotta like this, okay, and subscribe. I don't want to do
Thumbs up. Hit the
subscribe.
thumbs
Yeah.
up.
All right. Oh,
Oh, we got the bubble there.
how did you do that?
I'm magic.
Yeah, she's
Ooh, we
magic.
all know you are.
Yeah.
If you do that,
If you have the thing up, sometimes it'll
I know
copy it.
sometimes you do this or you do it's rainbows. I don't know.
Mine's not on.
There we
Oh,
go. That's it. That's it.
yeah. I love it.
Sometimes mine must be off. All right. Thank you guys. Thank you guys in the
Bye.
audience for
Thank
listening.
you.
And look at the team tab and let me know just if you want to do that.
Yeah,
Thank
Ciao.
you.
yeah. All right. Bye, you guys.
Bye. Love you all.
Love you.
Bye bye.